When you think of the word freak show, you might imagine scenes from a bygone era, like P.T. Barnum's American Museum. Years ago, people born with disabilities were often put on display as attractions in nearly every circus and carnival. In most cases, these performers were glad to be a part of a freak show because it meant that they had a steady job. While freak shows have faded with time, they haven't disappeared completely. For plenty of people today, performing has become a side gig in addition to a typical 9-to-5 job, but that doesn't make them any less remarkable. Here are 15 examples of modern freak show performers that actually exist. Number 15, the Lizard Man. Eric Sprague was just your average college boy. He holds a bachelor's degree in philosophy and was a candidate for a PhD from the University of Albany when he suddenly chose to change his entire life. He underwent body modification procedures to look like one of those humanoid reptilian beings conspiracy theorists obsess over. His tongue was split down the center to appear serpentine, and his entire body was inked in green scales. He also had ridges implanted where his eyebrows once were, and his teeth were sharpened into predatory spikes. So, why would anyone do this to themselves? Well, honestly, he just wanted to. In an interview, he said, "I'm a huge Godzilla fan. So I became the awesome movie monster I wanted to see." Rather than turning against mankind to join the evil lizard elite, Sprague has used his scaly talents for good. He's been featured on various TV shows and now performs under the name The Lizard Man. Number 14. The Checkered Man. Matt Gaughan is better known as the Checkered Man because 99% of his body is tattooed in a checkerboard design. Well, yes, even the whites of his eyes, tongue, and private parts are covered in ink. The last 1% is the palms of his hands and soles of his feet. Gaughan was born with a condition called Poland syndrome, which causes missing muscles and can affect the function of internal organs. He had to undergo multiple surgeries throughout his life and grew up feeling self-conscious about his body. As an adult, he began tattooing himself to hide his surgical scars. This helped build his confidence, and from there, he didn't stop. Today, he holds the Guinness World Record for being the most tattooed man alive. Instead of working in freak shows full-time, Gaughan has a career as a professional chef. Still, his appearance has earned him several TV features, and his iconic look continues to turn heads wherever he goes. And we mean, why not? Number 13. Space Cowboy. As a young boy growing up in Australia, Shane Hultgren learned to ride a unicycle and would coast through town. Locals were so amazed they began tossing him money. He quickly realized he could earn a living by performing stunts and committed his life to refining his skills on the street. Today, he's better known by his stage alias, Space Cowboy. He holds not just 1, but 5 Guinness World Records for these sideshow stunts, juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle, lifting the most weight on hooks attached to his eye sockets, swallowing the most swords underwater, throwing the most knives at a target in 1 minute, and extinguishing the most blowtorches with his tongue in under a minute. Wild, right? It's difficult to imagine one guy mastering so many outrageous feats or even daring to try. With that record list, it's safe to say few will risk competing with him anytime soon. Space Cowboy remains a modern circus legend. Number 12. The Stalking Cat. Well, this human crossed every limit to become one with his favorite animal. Dennis Avner was of Native American heritage, and he truly believed the tiger was his spirit guide or guardian entity. When it came time to choose his spiritual name, he called himself the Stalking Cat. After serving in the U.S. Navy and working as a computer programmer, Avner chose to make his outward appearance reflect the animal he felt connected to. He had multiple surgeries on his face and ears, including implants that gave him feline-like features and whiskers. He grew out his nails and filed them into claws, tattooed tiger stripes, and wore special lenses. When he grinned, you'd see that his teeth were replaced with razor-like fangs. Known widely as the Cat Man, Avner appeared in documentaries, TV, and Las Vegas shows. Later, he was diagnosed with body dysmorphia and battled harsh public scrutiny. In 2012, he took his own life at age 54. Number 11. The Enigma. Tattooed men and women have long been featured in circus freak shows, but nowadays, full-body tattoos are common, so you really have to go further to stand out. Paul Lawrence began his performance career as a musician and co-founded the Jim Rose Circus in Seattle, Washington. The troupe often performed at the Lollapalooza Music Festival. At the time, Paul went by Slug and wowed crowds by swallowing live insects. Eventually, audiences stopped reacting, so he decided to reinvent both his act and himself. He received facial implants to mimic devil's horns, had his ears reshaped, and tattooed his body with jigsaw puzzle pieces. From that point on, he performed as the Enigma. Since completing his transformation, the Enigma has become internationally recognized for his one-of-a-kind look. He's appeared in Ripley's Believe It or Not and holds the Guinness World Record for most jigsaw tattoos on a single body. He continues to tour the globe, performing live music and greeting fans at tattoo expos. Number 10. Cuckoo the Bird Girl. Cuckoo the Bird Girl journeyed across continents and generations to land at Coney Island. Originally from Sydney, her real name is Sarah. She was born with a rare medical disorder that gives her a similar look to the real Cuckoo from the early 1900s. That Cuckoo, named Minnie Woolsey, performed at Coney Island in the 1930s and 40s and starred in the cult classic Freaks. Today's Cuckoo believes she's reincarnating and reclaiming that legacy through her performance. Her act includes aerial work inside a hoop suspended above a bed of nails. "I'm the only one in the world who can truly bring her back to life," she says. Sarah has been performing in circuses since 2001 and joined sideshows in 2009. She's appeared in Cirque du Soleil, landed a lead role in a feature film, and chose Coney Island to honor freak show culture. "Without people with disabilities, there would be no freak shows," she says. "We belong at the center of that tradition." Number 9. The Wolf Boy. A rare condition known as hypertrichosis, also nicknamed werewolf syndrome, has existed for centuries. As the name implies, it causes excessive hair growth, even across the face. One historic case was Petrus Gonsalves, whose story with his wife Catherine helped inspire Beauty and the Beast. Today, only around 100 people worldwide are born with hypertrichosis, and the most famous is Larry Gomez. Born in Mexico, he later moved to the US to pursue a showbiz career. Gomez eventually became a staple performer at the Venice Beach Freak Show in California, using the stage name Wolf Boy. Since then, he's built a reputation as a professional actor. He's been featured in multiple documentaries, television shows, and films, including the Hollywood production Water for Elephants. Despite his condition, Gomez turned what others considered a curse into a unique and respected career. His transformation from sideshow performer to working actor is a modern example of embracing difference and thriving because of it. Number 8. Lobster Boy. Several generations of the Styles family inherited a genetic disorder called ectrodactyly, which causes fingers to fuse together, forming claw-like or flipper-shaped hands. Grady Styles, born in 1937, was known as Lobster Boy his entire life. He worked in sideshows, just as his father had before him. While traveling with the circus, Styles married Mary Herzog, who performed as the Electrified Girl. They had children, some also born with ectrodactyly. Grady couldn't walk and used a wheelchair, which gave him immense upper body strength. Despite his disability, he physically abused his wife and kids during drunken episodes. Things escalated when his daughter got pregnant by another circus performer. Styles shot and killed the young man. He stood trial but received 15 years of probation, since jails weren't equipped for his disability. Afterward, feeling untouchable, he began threatening his family. His wife paid a hitman named Chris Wayant $1,500 to kill him. Ironically, Wayant received life in prison for murdering Lobster Boy. Number 7. Insecttovora. Angelica Velez, better known by her stage name Insecttovora, entered the sideshow scene by sheer chance. Raised on Long Island, she happened to be visiting New York from Minneapolis during the week of September 11th. Locked down in the Lower East Side, she attended a tattoo expo at the now-defunct Roseland Ballroom. That's where Zygon noticed her facial and hand tattoos and suggested she join the show. When she replied she didn't know how to do any of that, he simply said, "Oh, you'll learn." And she did. She joined in 2002 and began by eating live bugs. A few years in, another castmate taught her fire eating, a skill the show's old fire breather swore he'd never teach a pretty girl. She proved him wrong. Today, Insecttovora spins torches, dances with flames on her lips, and blows fiery blasts into the crowd. After a 6-year break working in lighting design in Austin, she returned, and now brings all walks of life together. Number 6. The Kingdom of the Little People. In China, there's a theme park called the Kingdom of the Little People, built exclusively for dwarfs who live, work, and perform there. But this isn't some outdated relic from a century ago. It was actually established in 2009 by a real estate tycoon named Chen Ming. In an interview with Reuters, he claimed he opened the park as a charitable effort. In China, it's incredibly challenging for dwarfs to find stable employment. By creating this park, Chen Ming has provided jobs and housing for over 100 little people. Not everyone performs on stage. Many work as cashiers, landscapers, bookkeepers, artists, security staff, and salespeople. Everyone earns a wage comparable to an average Chinese college graduate. Of course, the park has received its share of backlash. Dwarfism advocates argue it reinforces segregation rather than promoting inclusion in society. Vice News filmed a documentary inside the park. When they interviewed the workers, most expressed real happiness. Some even left full-time jobs to join this community. Number 5. The Black Scorpion. This is one of those classic sideshow acts that sounds much more outrageous than it actually is. Performing under the name the Black Scorpion, or occasionally Lobster Boy, this distinctively claw-handed performer is a positive figure within the freak show world, elevating the reputation of sideshow performers as entertainers, not ridicule targets. In 2008, the Black Scorpion became part of the Coney Island Sideshows by the Seashore lineup and was featured on TLC's hit series Taboo. Rather than hide his condition, Lobster Boy embraces it, using his visible differences to reshape public perception. Instead of feeding into outdated mockery or exploitation, he's helping to shift the conversation around body diversity and reclaim the freak show space as something empowering, not demeaning. His act isn't just a performance, it's a form of advocacy. By embracing the role and turning it into something meaningful, the Black Scorpion proves that the freak show world still has room to evolve and inspire. He is a good guy. Number 4. Finn Flexible. Finn started honing his sideshow skills from a young age. His fascination with contortion began at age 3, after watching his cheerleader sister nail the splits. That moment sparked a lifelong obsession. He dove into gymnastics and began teaching himself contortion via YouTube tutorials. Over time, he blended his flexibility with a growing passion for the sideshow world. "I spent every allowance right here," he said, referring to Coney Island's freak show. Looking for work, Finn walked in one day and auditioned on the spot. He landed the gig. Today, he's added walking on broken glass and swallowing metal chains to his routine. What drives him? The energy of the crowd. On his birthday, May 25th, the audience sang "Happy Birthday," and he was so overwhelmed he cried right there on stage. "We're like superheroes," Finn says, "and when people scream and cheer, no matter their age, it's just pure joy." That's what makes it all worth it. Number 3. The Texas Talker. Nikos Briscoe, known as the Texas Talker, uses what he proudly calls his gift of gab to draw in curious passers-by. Wearing a cowboy hat and armed with charisma, Briscoe works the front gate, explaining the sideshow's history, its importance to Coney Island, and why visitors shouldn't skip it. "You come to Coney Island, you have to see this show," he says. "It'd be like flying to Paris and skipping the Eiffel Tower." Though Briscoe is also a musician and actor, known in some circles as the Pink Velvet Witch, he has zero interest in being in the sideshow. His mission is to get people into it. "Some folks are nervous," he admits. "Some have even walked out. But most just need a nudge, someone to guide them over that line." That's where Briscoe comes in. For him, it's not just about filling seats. It's about helping people find a tradition that's weird, wild, welcoming, and very much alive. So what do you think about him? Number 2. Gibsonton, Florida, aka Showtown. For decades, the town of Gibsonton, Florida, served as a sanctuary for circus performers during the cold winter months. Because of this, it earned a reputation as a haven filled with giants, bearded ladies, dwarfs, and other showfolk. Many of them even appeared in the 1932 film Freaks. Locals followed the Carney Code, meaning they supported each other no matter what hardships they faced. Ward Hall, a legendary ringmaster nicknamed King of the Sideshow, proudly ran his operations in Gibsonton until his passing in 2018 at age 88. In an interview with The Guardian, he fondly recalled the days when they lived like a self-sufficient community, much like the kingdom of the little people. Many former performers have since retired there. However, performances have drastically declined. Fewer Americans feel the need to settle in a close-knit space for sideshow workers. Eventually, Gibsonton will fade into the past. Now, let's move to Number 1. Morg. A man known as Morg performed at the Venice Beach Freak Show, where he showcased sword swallowing and other acts like spitting up steel billiard balls. After his appearance on AMC's Freak Show, he built a massive following on Instagram, calling himself a philosopher and a revolutionary. The Venice Beach Freak Show was shut down in 2017, and while sword swallowing is undeniably impressive, there aren't many careers that require it. With so few jobs in the sideshow world today, Morg pivoted to writing essays and books about his personal philosophy, aiming to build a cult called Hyperianism. He claims to use mathematical formulas to help people become Hyperion or reach a higher level of consciousness. He's currently asking for financial support toward his vision, though how effective that's been is unknown. Whether you buy into his beliefs or not, Morg's still out there, straddling the line between street performer and underground prophet. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you very soon.